Hey Shway, it's JayShway, and I am wearing a very silly goose shirt. Because I am a very silly boy. And this is a very silly game. Take my word for it. Play with the cat? Aw, you just want a little attention, don't you? Poor little thing must be bored sitting in that box all day. You search around. There's really nothing in the alley that looks interesting enough for the cat to play with. So maybe... how about a game? You decide on a game you've known since childhood. Red light, green light. A classic. Teaching the cat how to play might be a bit of a challenge. I have a feeling it's going to understand it quite well. But you get the feeling the feline's natural hunting instincts will help it along. You walk the entrance of the alleyway, and the cat is meowing at you. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. You exaggerate your movements, covering your eyes with your hands to turn around. 1, 2, 3. Red light! You spin around. Still staying in the box. The cat hasn't left the box, tilting its head at you in a curious confusion. We'll keep playing. We'll keep playing. You try again. This time you go a bit slower. 1, 2, 3. Red light! When you turn around this time, the cat is out of the box. The cat freezes under your stare, as if it thinks you can't see it if it doesn't move. So cute. Oh, so cute. Satisfied that the cat is getting the hang of the game, you turn again, speeding back up. 1, 2, 3. Red light. Gonna be so close. The cat is a few steps away from the box now, peeking at you behind a dumpster. Its eyes, trained rather intensely on you. Well, at least it's having fun. You turn again and feel a sudden chill run down your spine. You feel silly. You can't help counting, just a little faster this time. 1, 2, 3, red light! Whirling around after saying red light, you look at the cat. It's halfway down the alley, closer to you now, but it's as if the perspective of what you're seeing is off. Somehow. Doesn't the cat look a little bigger? Its pupils are thin slits now. There's something's not right. The cat meows at you again, but it sounds much deeper than earlier. It's crouched down as if poised to lunge forward. Your breath shudders a little as your heart starts to race. Your foot instinctively drifts back. What the f- Okay. That is the creepiest I've seen this cat. You freeze immediately. The cat looks impatient. It wants to keep playing, but you gulp and turn around, swiftly counting and turning again as you gasp out. What's in the red light? The ground shakes as you whirl back around. You find yourself staring at a long surface of black fur. You slowly look up, and up, and up. You see a giant shadowy figure leering down from its position, hunched over you. Fangs dripping with saliva, claws crushing into the concrete walls of the alley. Its glowing eyes are blinking as they look back at you. The cat waiting for your next turn, but it's so close. You turn around now. You don't want to play anymore. Run. You don't even finish turning around before claws grip your torso, digging in and piercing the soft flesh of your stomach with ease. As you're lifting the drooling, gaping jaws above you, you can't help but think that there must have been another way out of this. Pointless regrets. Pretty typical for you, aren't they? Ending 32. You're a quitter. Back up. Keeping your eyes trained on the giant looming over you, you take a step back.
No. That's cheating.
Run. Restore. Backup. Begin restoration? What? What? Oh! Back up.
What are you doing? Stop!
You'll break everything! Back up. The cat stares as you keep eye contact and back up. You step back. And back. And as you take one more step back out of the alley, go home. Error. 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 Error, 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 error. The world outside the alley seems to be broken. What exactly did you do? Ending 33. Error found? What? Something isn't right. When the going gets tough, just give up. That's how the saying goes, right? An exception has occurred. Please refrain from going outside the permitted parameters. Excuse me? I fed the cat, right? Look around the area? You glance around the dark, dingy alley. Garbage bags, trash bins, empty cardboard boxes, and scattered litter here and there. There is something for the cat to eat. Surely it would have found it by now, right? But you don't want to just give up so easily. You keep looking. You look and only see garbage. You sniff and only smell garbage. You listen and you just barely make out the sound of a faint scurrying by a trash bin a few feet away. Quietly. Oh, so quietly. You creep over the bin. And you lunge. You weren't very graceful in your attempt. You stumbled and knocked over a stack of nearby boxes full of more trash. But as you stand up, grasped in your hand is a small mouse. The mouse squeaks and shrieks in distress, wiggling and struggling desperately in your grip. You're holding it too tightly and carefully for it to be able to bite or scratch you, though. It wears itself out eventually and looks at you with black eyes. It's completely at your mercy. Spare the mouse, see what happens. No, look at you, you're so cute. So cute. Oh, it's not that cute. Sorry! You can hear the cat's stomach growling. It must be so hungry. Must be starving. Spare the mouse. I know. Kill me again. I've done it 30 times, 40 times already. You know the cat is hungry. Why are you hesitating? You caught prey for the cat's sake, didn't you? Are you really going to value the life of a filthy rodent more than the cats? Spare the mouse. I don't like that look you're giving me. Yep, I've seen this look. Why are you suddenly talking so much?
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Last chance.
And over the prey now.
Spare the mouse. You let the mouse go. It scurries away, squeezing into a tiny hole in the wall. You don't pay it much mind. Ah, haha. You don't flinch as a giant clawed paw slowly falls in front of you, blocking your path in the alley's entrance. Not that you had any delusions about escaping. The cat is hungry, after all. Ah. You close your eyes in acceptance as the paw gently pulls you back, and, as expected. Ending 26, a life spared. Probably another tortured soul in whatever the fuck this is. You decide not to feed the poor, hungry cat a helpless mouse. Feed mouse to cat. Oh, the mouse looks scared, as if it can sense your intentions. It weakly starts to struggle again. Ugh. The mouse is reluctant, obviously. Feed mouse to cat. Feed the mouse to the cat. The cat tears it apart instantly. Ah! The mouse pain squeaks and squeals, pierce through you until they're abruptly cut off. Satisfied, the cat mews happily at you, red tinting its fangs. The cat curls up in its now blood-stained box and goes to sleep. Have I satiated the cat? Or is the mice gonna come after me now? You take the chance to leave. Well-fed cat will likely follow you home after all. And as cute as the cat is, you really can't afford a pet right now. Still feeling a little guilty about the mouse, you decide to just go home. Okay. Silence on the way back. After a long walk home, you finally enter your apartment. You head straight for your room and collapse in your bed, falling into a fitful sleep. Later, you wake up. To squeaking and scurrying noises all around you. So loud and constant, they sound like screams. In the darkness of your room, you see the shifting shadows of hundreds of mice surrounding your bed. You try to run, but you cry out as twin lances of pain race up your legs. You fall off the bed in your attempt to escape, the hordes of mice dodging you as you crash to the ground. You can't stand up. Looking back and squinting in the dark, you just about make out the source of your pain. Oh! Flesh and tendons on your heels and ankles are mangled, bitten through your socks. No! Leave me alone! Desperate, you crawl with your arms towards the door. The mice descend upon you, biting in your skin, gnawing away pieces of you. You start to fade in and out consciousness, but still reach up for the doorknob. Your arm heavy, weighed down by the mice clinging to it with a little claw and tiny teeth. You manage to jostle the knob enough for the door to slowly swing open. What'd that say? But your outstretched arm suddenly falls to the ground, lifeless. The mice manage to chew through the flesh and bone of your now dismembered limb. As a few mice creep forward to curiously inspect your arm, you stare blankly at it for a moment before sliding your gaze up. In the newly opened doorway sits a familiar-looking mouse. It stares at you. The darkness and its beady, black eyes. You can't begin to measure their depths. Nor the hatred pouring out from within them. All of it aimed at you. You collapse, head hitting the floor as your other arm is eaten away as well. You're not sure how you're still conscious. The pain should be indescribable, and yet you feel a cold sense of loss. The mice have clustered along your back now, gnawing and ripping their way between your shoulder blades, into your back, into your chest. You weakly cough up blood. They must have damaged something important. You feel something being pulled out of you. And in between the moments that blankets of darkness fade out your vision, you hear something wet plop on the ground in front of you. You pry your eyes open and see it in front of the mouse. Weirdly shaped, red with your blood, and pulsing, and... oh! That's your heart, isn't it? Oh. The other mice all descend upon it, abandoning your half-eaten body. You're losing a lot of blood. You feel sleepy, but you also feel anger? Yes. So much anger. How dare they? How dare they? The last thing you see before your vision fails you is a pair of glowing eyes leering in from the darkness beyond the doorway. You can hear squeaks and shrieks of terror all around you. Low yowls, deep snarls, gnashing teeth, tearing flesh. As your remaining senses leave you, you smile weakly, the last of your strength, when something was soft, slightly damp, and sticky fur nuzzles your cheek. Good kitty. Ending 27. Well fed. Shout out to Bodozer. Hey, thank you for commenting on all my videos. I really appreciate it. And apparently, someone doesn't believe that I respond to his comments, so... Huh. What the... Did the cat help me? Maybe the cat's not so bad. Maybe the cat's coming around. Cats are supposed to eat mice, huh? Wonder what mice are supposed to eat. So what's this? You're not ready. Oh! Okay? I need to discover those? I just leave the cat. You don't think it's a good idea to get the cat's hopes up? Yep. Ignore. So it's best for both of you. You leave the alley and continue on your way. Wait, what was I doing? In all the excitement of dealing with your furry dilemma, you've forgotten that you still hadn't decided on what you were going to do for your day off. Let's save here. Go watch a movie. It's been a while since a film came out that looked interesting enough for you to drag yourself to a movie theater. But there's a showing of one such film at the old theater. The movie was a little too niche to be picked up by the new cinema that opened right across the street. That's okay though, you're not exactly a fan of the crowds. And nothing ruins the experience of watching a new movie for you more than a noisy audience. Go to the old theater. You eagerly buy your ticket from the kind old man in the booth and head inside. It's barren of any trace of other people, and the decor looks like it hasn't changed since the 80s. Maybe even the 70s. But it's what you were counting on. You consider buying some popcorn, but can't help but be concerned that everything at the concession stand might be expired. You move on and walk through the halls, finally locating the theater designed on your ticket stub. As expected, the theater your movie will be playing is completely empty. Perfect. You pick a spot right in the middle, even counting the seats and taking into consideration the gap of the staircase. As you settle in, the dim lights fade away, leaving the room pitch black for a few seconds. Before the screen flickers on, no commercials or trailers pop up. The movie just begins. Pleased, you shrug and let yourself get immersed in the opening scene. And just as you're getting into the premise, the doors open behind you momentarily, casting light into the room and ruining the atmosphere. You hold in a frustrated sigh. It's a public establishment, after all. The place can't exactly afford to stay open if you're the only customer. You try to refocus on the movie, but you sense the new presence slowly shifting around the theater before heading in your general direction. What? Okay. Jerk move. You gape in utter disbelief as the stranger shuffles down the aisle, only to sit right in front of you. There's no one else here and plenty of spaces to sit. The stranger is also unusually tall. Even with the stadium-like arrangement of the seats being on a somewhat steep incline, they're completely blocking your view. Move to another spot, and you just move. You don't want to risk escalating the situation further. This whole thing is already making you uneasy. Why would they choose to sit right in front of you? Surely they know you wouldn't be able to see past them. Shaking your head with a passive-aggressive scoff in the stranger's direction, you reluctantly pick another, less perfect seat in the theater. But as you settle down, you see the stranger person get up and move on over, only to once again sit down in the seat directly in front of you. You look around somewhat helplessly, as if waiting for someone to silently agree with you about how odd all this is, or at least inform you that this is an elaborate prank. But there's no one else here with you. That's how you've always liked it, but you can't help but think that maybe it would be nice to have someone else here if it meant not being alone in this weird jerk. Pick up your things and move on over. You move again. And again, they sit right in front of you. You're bristle annoyed and a little humiliated. Are they just getting a kick out of this or something? You wasted enough time with this jerk that you don't even know what's going on in the movie anymore. Confront this. Leave the theater. This is too weird. Feeling uncomfortable, you decide to leave the theater. There's still enough time left in the day to do something else. Wait, what? Old theater? It's the same. It's the same. I'm gonna confront the stranger. I hate confrontation. You're gonna feel your palms starting to sweat at the idea. Your throat's closing up, and your body's starting to shake. You've always been more of a fighter than a fighter. Oh, flighter. But you paid for this ticket. You wanted to watch this movie for ages, and now this total stranger has ruined the experience for you. You're all alone in the theater. There's no one who will help you if something goes wrong. You're angry enough that you ignore the signs of your body, begging you to put as much distance as you can between yourself and the stranger. You stand up, even standing and higher up on the incline. The stranger is still, at least, a head taller than you. The movie continues to play in the background, but you feel as if a hush immediately falls heavily over the theater at your movement, as if the sense of the stranger anticipating what you plan to do next. You square your shoulders and force a little bass to your voice. Hey! Hey! The effort makes your words come out more harshly than you intended, like a sudden and vicious bark. But you figure they deserve it anyway. You're being a real jerk, you know that? Just what are you playing at, huh? Are you trying to piss me off? The silence that follows your words is deafening. So much so that you glance at the screen only to find that the movie has paused. Your attention is ripped back at the stranger in front of you as they shift slightly, like a small animal trying to desperately anticipate the moves of a predator. So you don't move an inch. You don't look away. You don't dare blink. Instead, your eyes widen as the person's head turns. And turns some more. And turns more, beyond which would be possible, neck bones cracking, to face you directly. You can't move. Wide, glowing eyes resting above a wider, grinning mouth gaze down at you. The stranger opens their mouth and what comes out is something impossible to comprehend. The voice is endlessly deep and creaks like weighty door, foreboding and oddly melodic, alluring. It also snaps you out of your terrified trance, and before you know it, you're already out the door. You run through the halls of the empty theater, heading for the exit. You feel something watching you from behind. You're too afraid to look. The exit is now in sight. You sprint forward and burst through the doors. You look around frantically and spot the crowded cinema across the street. People! That's what you need. Safety in numbers and all that. Without thinking, you rush into the street, and a seeking sensation crawls down your spine, compelling you to look behind you. Ah! I need to save here. Don't look behind you, don't look behind you, don't look behind you, don't look behind you. Look behind you. Despite your resistance, you feel your head turning to look back of its own accord. In the middle of the street, you catch a glimpse of a grotesque-looking person standing behind the glass doors of the old theater, watching you intensely, cradling something in their arms, something familiar. But... Oh, fuck! Oh. A glimpse is all you get as the truck's speeding towards crashing your body. You killed on impact, your body splattered across the road and crushed further under the heavy tires. Ending 16. 4 screening arrangements. It's not just the cat, is it? Whatever world I am in, it is not normal. Everything here is not the real world. You go to the old theater, enjoy a film with an interesting stranger. Load this last one. Go to the new cinema. Refusing to even risk a peek over your shoulder, you rush across the street to the new cinema theater. You didn't realize what it felt like. You've been surrounded by some kind of dreadful pressure. Until it very suddenly vanishes. Leaving you feeling a little more shaken. But at least breathing comes a little easier. You think it's within your best interest to repress everything that just happened. Yeah. Deciding to wait for the movie you've been anticipating to be available on DVD or streaming, you join the long line outside the new cinema. By the time you reach the ticket booth, you just want it inside. You just go inside. So you pick a movie at random and take your ticket from the tired-looking teenager manning the booth. The decor is chic and sleek. Chic and sleek. And the inside is bustling with people. But it's not what you're usually into. It's kind of nice not being alone. Even if you feel a little lonely watching families or groups of friends laughing amongst themselves. You get some popcorn, but the lines at the concession stands are long, and the prices are criminal anyway. You go through the halls, and follow the signs of the theater designated on your ticket before heading inside. You sit at the side of the absolutely crowded theater. You head towards the seat only to be told the person next to it is being saved for someone. This happens a few more times before you finally manage to get yourself seated into a seat, annoyingly off center of the screen. The screen is at least visible, if not a little too close, so you grit your teeth and bear it. The lights fade out, but the chatter doesn't. The rest of the audiences seem content to talk through the commercials and even through the trailers. You figure the chatter will stop when the movie eventually begins, but it doesn't get even slightly quieter as the opening scene starts to play out. You sigh out loud, not thinking anyone would hear you anyway. This is why you avoid movie theaters like the plague. Hi. Suddenly the screen changes, showing the face of a black cat. It's like Cheshire's cat. A familiar black cat. Confused murmurs fill the room, but then the cat on the screen meows. Why is it repeating that? The sound is strange, and not at all like a cat should sound. Haunting. Almost melodic. And layered as if made multiple voices at different creatures. Creatures that would probably never say... Why is it doing that? What does that mean? You sit in confusion, wondering why you haven't already gotten up and left to complain to the cinema staff. But then you hear it. It's scattered and distant at first, but among the crowd, people start to chant along with the cat on the screen. Oh my god! Soon, the entire room is chanting in perfect unison. Everyone staring intently at the cat on the screen. You're feeling strangely drawn to the screen yourself. But the compulsion to stare blankly, like the others, isn't that strong. For now. Also, you start to notice at the corner of your eye, some of the people in your immediate vicinity are looking at you. No. They're outright staring holes into you, even as they continue chanting. They don't miss a beat as they slowly begin to frown at you in blatant disapproval. Their scowls deepen as time goes on, as if they're getting impatient. Try to leave the theater. This is too weird. I need to get out of here. Gathering your courage, or perhaps putting your fear to use, you stand up, fully intending to leave the theater. When everything comes to an abrupt stop, all the chanting stops, even the cat's chanting on the screen. You tense and risk a glance around the theater. They're all staring at you. Every single one of them. They're not moving. Not even blinking. You swallow. Throat suddenly dry. Even through a nervous sweat completely soaks through your clothes. You highly doubt that sitting back down will fix the situation. Your legs are shaking under the audience's unnaturally intense scrutiny. You force yourself to step forward and forward and forward, so you finally reach the end of the aisle. You feel their collective gaze, even worse, on the staircase. Other heads turned uncomfortably to the left to look directly at you. The screen illuminates their faces, making clear their blank scowls. They seem even more upset than they had been minutes ago. Identical frown lines digging between their brows. You keep going, the atmosphere becoming more and more oppressive with each step. You're so tense with anticipation you finally expect someone to grab at you from behind. But no one does. You don't hear any of them get up. You exit the theater, holding your breath as the doors close behind you. You briskly walk through the halls, putting as much distance as possible between you and the theater full of people. Finally reaching the lobby, you just barely manage to catch yourself from falling to the floor as you gulp in huge gasps of air. You expect to feel relief as your breathing calms. You feel a lingering sense of dread that only spikes once you finally notice it. As well as its source, you look up, and your stomach sinks. I hate that so much. All the people in the lobby area in the movie theater. Everyone in the line in the concession stand. All of them staring at you. And they look even angrier than people in the theater. You don't hesitate this time. You duck your head, avoiding eye contact, leave the cinema. You ignore the glares of everyone in the sticker booths and lines leading to them. I don't like this. I really don't like this. You make your way home. Whenever you dare look up at someone on the way, you flinch at the blatant anger, fury, and disgust in their face. You think you start to hear the faint sound of a cat meowing behind you. Or maybe a kitten's? Doesn't matter. You just want to go home. You reach your front door and fumble with the keys, cowering from the look of pure hatred on your neighbor's face as he stares at you from his door. Finally, you get inside your apartment, lock all the locks on the door, and slide down your back against it. So you're sitting on the floor. You allow yourself a moment to breathe. Now home, your heartbeat calms and your fear slowly bleeds from you, leaving you feeling strangely empty. You pass the kitchen, head to your room, and slip under the covers of your bed, trying to fall asleep. Maybe it's all just a bad dream. As you fall into a fitful sleep, charitably full of nightmares of glaring eyes, you try to ignore the ever-increasing sounds of cats meowing and yowling in the distance outside your apartment. Ending 17, Black Sheep. Nothing really bad happened in time. It was just creepy. I didn't die or anything. You weren't a big fan of the movie at the new cinema. The rest of the audience might have opinions about that. I just hit load. Oh god, guys! Stop! It's this again. In the days leading up to my meeting with it, I have been obsessed with a memory. Someone precious to me had found someone precious to them. My best friend. My only friend. I was happy for them, truly. But then I'd be happy for the others too. They promised it would happen to me again. It wouldn't happen to me again. That they knew how it felt to be told by someone you cared for. That they'd outgrown you and your friendship. That they'd never, ever do such a thing to me. There's not a moment that passes now that I wish I risked the pain of their rejection and just believed them. But I didn't. I pulled away before they could, trying to protect my fragile heart. But only hurt. Excuse me? But only hurt all the more. Selfish as it was, I'd wanted them to fight harder to keep me around. When it appeared before me, it promised to be just that. Did I make a deal to a demon? A friend that would never, ever let me go. A friend that would never, ever leave me. And all I had to do was promise the same thing in return. You're walking. Right, of course. It's the first time in a while that you felt like going out. And you're actually glad that you did. Weather good today. That good thing. Maybe good luck too. Yes, lucky. Lucky, 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 oh, lucky, 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 lucky. Or maybe it was fate. You tentatively allow yourself to feel excited for the possibilities of where you could go or what you could do, maybe who you could even meet. You're so deep in thought that you almost miss it. That seems fainter than before. Huh? What was that? Curiosity guiding your steps, you follow the sound to the entrance of a lonely alleyway. The sunlight only just manages to reach down in between the tall buildings on either side. You timidly enter the alley and walk forward, the loose gravel and scattered debris on the ground softening your steps. Finally, the sound source comes to view in the warm, almost ethereal light of the alley. The end of the alley. Big cardboard box. Here's a cat. Huh. Guess that should have been obvious. It's an interesting looking cat. Its pretty yellow eyes shine like gold among the dark sea of its black fur. Puts its front paws up on the edge of the box and looks up at you.
You look so familiar.
Right? Then again, it is a cat. Not many different ways for standard cat, black, don't look after all. This one sure is a cutie though. Just look. Not glaring at you, hissing at you, yep. We've been through this many times before. Yep, same thing. It's the same thing. However, the question marks are now unlocked. Eat it. Blood. The cat lets out a sad, pleading little sound. It's hungry. Must be starving. So, you look around and see a nearby shard of glass. Your body moves as if it knows what to do and what needs to be done. You take the shard and... What? Why would you? Why would you do that? You carefully hold your finger over the cat. Dark red blood beads at the wound. Before growing heavy enough to drip into the cat's open, waiting jaws. It mewls happily at you. You smile warmly and lower your hand to the box, stroking the cat's cheeks before letting it lap gently at your bleeding finger. When the flow gets weak and the cat meows for more, you squeeze below the wound, coating more blood out. You feel strange, a welcome sense of comfort from the odd exchange, at being other than yourself was hungry, and you were able to provide its sustenance. Small wrong in the world made right, even so strangely done, and only temporarily. Ironically, it's at the moment that you started to feel dizzy. You didn't think you were losing that much blood. You slip against the cat's box and listen to it mewl in distress. Why is it in distress? You think it sounded worried about you. Or at least you'd like to think so. It could just want more blood as well. The cat hops out of the box and onto your lap, nuzzling at your stomach and meowing unhappily. You wish you could ease its concerns, but it's not like you can just talk to each other. You can't help but try to remember the last time you talked to anyone, actually. If you were to die here and now in this alley, how long would it take for someone to realize you were missing? That you were gone? Your thoughts are interrupted when the cat yowls loudly, tensing up in your lap. You don't have time to wonder why a voice rings out from the entryway to the alley. Oh! Someone else? Hello? Hey, are you alright? You don't answer. You don't think you can. Your voice feels locked away. Deep within you. Cat looks up at you with a long stare, as if assessing you. Looks back towards the voice, the final nuzzle to your stomach. Hops out your lap, walking towards the alley's entrance. But then... its face opens up. It peels back and opens again. Writhing tendrils peeking out from where you think its mouth should be. The stranger silhouette freezes in the light beyond the alley. What the hell is... But they don't have a chance to finish their question. The tendrils converge into one, before shooting out of the cat's jaws and piercing into the stranger's shoulder. Ah! Ah! They let out a pained cry and fearful yell. They claw at the tendrils, trying to pull them loose, but to no avail. You can't seem to process their screams. You stare at the creature before you, so different from the cat who mewled out of concern for earlier. Stop the cat. You can't let this happen. You shakily crawl forward and weakly grab the conjoined tendrils that pulse at the drain of the stranger's blood. As they drain the stranger's blood, when you tug firmly as you're able, the tendrils pulsing halts. The cat turns towards you. It makes a strange, trilling noise that sounds like a question, but you have no answer. You can't even understand the question, so you simply scoop up the creature, the cat, cradling it in your arms. You gaze almost longingly at the light beyond the alley's entrance. You don't know what's going on. You just can't sit by and watch someone else be eaten so viciously. Not that they tried to see you if you were okay. Not when you could offer yourself instead. You think the stranger is set free, because after the sound of the shoes hastily scuffling on the pavement fades in the distance. You feel something sharp pierce your back. It feels thin, almost like a needle. So the pain passes quickly as your body adjusts to the intrusion. You're sure it wasn't so thin it skewered through the stranger's shoulder earlier. But as you feel your blood leave your body, slowly, as if being pumped out, it gets harder to think and your vision starts to fail you. The creature in your arms make a soft sound. You hold it as tightly and closely as your weak arms can manage. This is fine. You're okay with this. You don't know if this will change anything. Surely the cat will get hungry again at some point after you're gone and no longer an option. But at least this time, you were able to save someone. Ending 28. Personal care package. What the heck? Let the cat feed. Ugh! Someone help me, please! Help me! You look away as the creature devours the stranger, draining them until they're nothing but a husk of bone, skin, and clothes heaped onto the floor. You feel awful, but what could you do? The creature is also a living thing. It shouldn't be allowed to eat. Or shouldn't it be allowed to eat when it needs to? Does it not also have a right to do what it must to survive? You ignore the voice in the back of your head that questions if there could have been another way. It's not like you tried to see if it could eat anything other than blood. Human blood. Now did you? The creature purrs as it rubs in your side of your arm. You realize that after a bit of rest, you've already started feeling better. What? But you also think that something inside you feels a bit broken too. You're just not quite sure what it is yet. You stand and hold out your arms. Still hungry? The creature trills happily and hops in your outstretched arms. Let's go then, yeah? You leave the alley together. You go to the world together. The cat is hungry. It'll be hungry often from now on. Very often. Screams of fear. Screams of fear and terror follow you both wherever you go. Without thought you care or concern for any of it. Just stand back and watch. Ending 29. All you can eat blood fey. Hey, I made a deal or something with this cat. Oh my god, hair! Cooperate. The cat either relies on me or is bound to me after I made a sort of deal. I guess I was lonely, pushed my friends away, which, God, I know that feeling. He got lonely, wanting people to fight for him, even though he's the problem, he or she, me. And instead, I find something that does that for me. We have, like, 14 more endings to go. You share a nice meal with the cat, a bit high on iron, though. You give the cat an endless supply of food. Generous. Thank you for making this. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope it made your day just a little bit brighter, even though this cat probably made it darker. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.